Why don't you take it away, Glenn?
All right. Thank you. So once a quarter, the charity department this year has been doing a charity spotlight. Ian did some for Black History Month. Rosie did, I think it was a Trans Lifeline Q2. And this year we thought it'd be really cool to highlight My Culture Connect. Most of us know that My Culture Connect is a huge resource for our students trying to get their practicum. And instead of presenting about them, we figured we should reach out because they're so awesome over there and see if they'd be down to present about themselves. And so I reached out to them, and we have the honor of having Quentin give us a little breakdown on My Culture Connect, tell us a little bit about them because they are a nonprofit. And so he's just going to teach us a little bit about them. And then at the end of this presentation, the charity department will donate $500 to My Culture Connect. And certainly if there's ways that you want to get involved, I'm sure Quentin will touch on it. With that, I will turn it over to you, Quentin.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Glenn, and to the charity committee. I'm very happy to be here to talk a little bit about our organization. And I want to thank you all for also selecting us as this quarter's nonprofit organization to highlight. So we are really appreciative of that, and we thank you for all of that. So as Glenn mentioned, I've been working here with My Culture Connect for 2 years now, and began with them similar to how a lot of our interactions with the ITA happen. I was an ITA alum looking to do my practicum hours, and this was during 2020, so in the height of COVID, and so options were slim. And so at that point, I reached out to Luke at My Culture Connect, and that is how I became familiar with the organization and began my journey with My Culture Connect. So I am now, I teach classes with My Culture Connect, and I'm also the program manager there to help Luke out with coordinating our volunteers and those seeking practicum hours for their TEFL certificates. So now I'd just like to give just a brief kind of informative session just about My Culture Connect and the work that we do and how we got started. And definitely at the end, if there are any questions, please feel free to ask. So, My Culture Connect was founded in 2009 by Luke Lynn, who is unfortunately unable to be here today, but it started the organization in 2009, and the organization really began because of a need in the area of Taiwan that Luke lives in. And so in the rural area of Taiwan, there aren't as many resources, especially for English-speaking resources in that part of Taiwan. Even though Taiwan is a known destination for those looking to travel and teach English. Definitely in the more rural areas, the resources are more limited. So in 2009, Luke founded the organization just to begin giving classes and connecting students in need with English teachers who could help them since the resources were very limited. And then beginning in 2011, Luke began to compile virtual learning and educational resources through My Culture Connect, so that it became not only an organization where students could come take classes in person, but also began to build a library of resources and virtual learning opportunities for those who couldn't attend in person, and of course then expanded our reach a little bit. And so ever since 2009, Luke has always and continues to offer these services to the community through MCC on a completely volunteer basis, and all of the services that MCC provides to the students there are all completely free of charge. And so we work with public schools in Taiwan. We work with just individual families who are wanting to get some tutoring for their child in English, and And so all of these are offered free of charge to those. And even we even work with a lot of adults and even some English teachers who teach English as a second language, but English is also a second language for them. We work with a lot of teachers as well just to help them brush up and get better with their conversational English. So all of this is offered free of charge. And so, since MCC has been around for a while, Luke has actually been recognized by Taiwan. First here is a picture of Luke receiving an award from the Ministry of Education. Due to his contributions that he has given to Taiwan. And then also, this is Luke meeting the president of Taiwan, well, the then president of Taiwan, to commend his volunteer efforts in education. Because since 2009, as I mentioned, Luke has been doing this completely on a volunteer basis. So he's very well recognized in Taiwan for all the work that he's done for the education system there. So I mentioned a little bit about the communities we serve, but most of them are communities in rural areas that are usually underserved when it comes to English-speaking resources. As Taiwan is a destination for a lot of ESL teachers, most of them tend to gravitate toward the larger cities or urban centers, and not a lot of them actually choose to go to the rural regions of Taiwan. And so there's definitely a lack in foreign native level English teachers in that region. And so Shangwang County is the area of Taiwan where Luke lives and where MCC has a big presence. And so you can see here on the map and just a picture of kind of where Shangwang County is. And so this is where many of the students live in that use MCC. And so the county has a population of 1.3 million people, and 240 public schools are in the county, and this is including primary, middle, and high schools. There are 240 public schools total in the county, but there are only currently 6 foreign teachers on site in public schools. That includes 3 Americans, 2 South Africans, and 1 British person who are actually on site. So for these 240 public schools that are also teaching English as a part of their normal curriculum, there are only 6 foreign teachers in this area at these public schools. So that's just kind of an example of just how limited the resources are if we didn't have a virtual option. And so COVID-19, of course, affected education everywhere, and definitely affected ESL education. And so many countries, including Taiwan, closed their borders or majorly restricted the number of people who could come into the country, and that meant even less foreign teachers were available to come to Taiwan, even to the urban centers. And so this is really where the ITA and MCC kind of came together to meet a need on both sides. As I mentioned, I'm an ITA alum and was looking for practicum opportunities, and for all of these reasons, many of them were limited. And so many students began reaching out, and at this time, this is when Luke started kind of putting together volunteers who were looking for practicum hours and who were willing to teach English with the need that he already had in Taiwan, and to just kind of make that impact a little bit greater. And so many students seeking their ESL certifications, of course, struggled, and that's where MCC came together. And so that's how really, when COVID-19 in 2020, that's really when we started to have a lot of ITA students and other TEFL students want to get practicum hours through MCC. And so now currently, we have, there have been over 2,000 ITA students who have contacted MCC since 2020 to do either part or all of their practicum through our organization. Currently, there are over 400 students in Taiwan taking classes offered by MCC, either through one-on-one tutoring or through the programs that we offer at their public school. And currently, we have over 100 active ITA student volunteers who are helping to meet the demand of these services. So these students are either ones that are helping to observe or are observing classes, are helping to tutor, or to also co-teach classes with a teacher that is on the ground in Taiwan. And so these are just some photos of some of the some of our classes, and so programs that are offered in the actual public schools, virtual, and yep. And so these are just a few pictures of some of our students and some of the classes that we offer. And when it comes to sort of what the donations and as a nonprofit, what we use those for, especially here, as you can see, Luke provides a lot of the audio and visual equipment to the public schools that we work with. So Luke actually goes many times to all of these different schools that we are co-teaching at and sets up all of the equipment, sets up the laptops, sets up the microphones, sets up the speakers, the TVs, so that they can have a good learning experience. And so that is what a lot of the donations go toward for MCC. But again, I just want to thank you all for giving me this time to just talk a little bit about our organization. I feel that I've been so lucky to have been a part of this and to be able to see the impact that we're having, and continue to have. So thank you very much for giving me this time, and if you have any questions, please feel free.
Thank you so much, Quentin. Thank you, Glenn, for bringing Quentin in this morning. It was fantastic. 2,000 ITA students have reached out in the last 2 years. That is insane. So that's like a very large percentage. So glad we could keep you busy.
Yes, definitely. And I think, and even to this day, now that the pandemic, we're still dealing with it a little bit, of course, but things are reopening and other opportunities are out there. But we continue to have a lot of students reach out for practicum just because I think that we try to make it as streamlined as possible. And I hope that that continues because it really does provide such a good service for the students in Taiwan. So it's kind of a win-win for both parties.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and end our recording, and I'll send the link to Glenn, and then he can share it with you, okay?